There we go. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 380 of Pixels and Ink, the official podcast of CG Magazine, where we take a critical eye to gaming, comics, tech, and media. I'm your host today, Chris DeHoog, and I'm joined by a full panel. We've got Brendan Fry, our editor-in-chief, whose sound didn't come through.
Because we muted it.
Hey there.
There we go. Hey,
I'm gonna get fired tonight.
this is the final straw for Dana Eileen.
Hey, what's up? Don't play
Alex Hansiak, can you join us from the metaverse, please?
Oh, I'm gonna leave the metaverse to join this
Come back
special
to
episode. Okay, recalibrating. Pixels and Ink.
Back in his
Hey, guys.
Following
Alex
the
Hansiak.
G4 TV concept.
Whoa!
And also joining us for the first time in a long time, I think, Kari Taylor.
Hey everybody.
Okay.
Good to have you. Throwing up gang signs here.
Hey.
We go.
Yeah, hey man,
Xbox is in the room.
you're my mortal enemy. I see like you've got like a PlayStation hoodie on, right?
By pure coincidence, yes.
and I don't even know which side is.
Yeah, I like
which,
how you were
so
pointing to the blank.
My Xbox hoodie's in the other room.
Yeah.
You've got an Oodie.
I'm not wearing the Udi
You
though.
could make Brendan
On
wear
the
the Oodie.
next episode, I got one of those too. We
Yeah.
can do it. We can do an
Yeah,
Udi.
see?
We can do a-
Oodles of Oodies.
Oh my god.
I don't know what an Oodie
You
is.
can have
Why do you have an
theme
Udi?
nights?
Why do you have an Udi, Alex?
'Cause they're
Because I like to be warm.
Okay.
happy.
Although I
Is
will
it an
say,
Xbox Udi?
no, I'm not fancy
Okay.
like you. But it's a thing where like I've worn it to sleep a couple of times, and I've woken up in the morning with it just like thrown across the room, but I don't remember throwing it across the room because it's really warm, right? So it's like what
You
happened?
wake up in
What
a
happened in
rage.
those hours with the Udi?
You.
So what's an Oodie?
Yeah.
It's like a
Joe.
Oh,
you're gonna find
yeah.
out.
We're all hands-on today.
Thank
We're getting the full
God.
demonstrations.
Mhm.
Thank God.
Thank you for joining us, though. We've got a full palette of gaming
They've
news to
all
talk about
already
once
left.
Yeah.
once we've discovered the mystery of the Oodie.
Whoa. Like
Oh,
whoa.
Yo, it's the metaverse,
Like,
folks.
whoa.
They just did it.
Can you
You
hear
look
us?
very comfortable.
Yeah, no,
That
it's
looks
just-
like a
Oh,
Snorlax Kimuriguri, whatever they
it's
call them.
really warm. It's like really comfy, and it's what you want to be when you're doing a video podcast. It's a good look.
That
That's
is
That's legit.
fair, I guess.
That looks extremely cozy though.
I've made
I
two
gotta-
costume changes already, and we're like 2 minutes in. This is
It's impressive.
I'm gonna
It's a
stop.
big
Take
day.
that, Gaga.
Big
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gaga's got nothing
we're
on
trendy
Alex.
today.
I don't know. That's the best reference I've got. I don't know. I'm
That's
a
pretty
bitch.
good.
Anyways,
It is a reference.
getting into this packed palette of gaming hot news here. Top story today: Sony has made a move and is acquiring Bungie for $3.6 billion. The makers of Destiny and former makers of Halo.
Yeah.
So interesting development now that Crash Bandicoot is in Xbox's camp, and Halo's original makers are now in Sony's camp.
Yeah.
What are we thinking about this acquisition here?
Who's gonna go first on that one?
It's
Does
hard
it
to
sting?
care. It's hard to care that it's only 3.6 billion, right? We had
Yeah.
a big one last week. It's like
Pocket.
I don't
Is
know.
it sad that that's
Yeah.
not impressive?
That-
like, ugh.
that's the
That's
first
all?
reaction where it was like, oh, it's like only 3.6 billion dollars. I see that every day, right? It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing. Chump change.
Well, you know what I find is interesting about this? Okay, after the Microsoft acquisition, I think Jeff Keighley like tweeted. He had a tweet where basically he had a list of all these other companies. He was saying, "Here's who's left,"
Right.
and right down at the very bottom of this list was Sega for 3.6 billion.
Mhm.
And then this thing happens, and I'm like, Sony could have bought Sega.
I mean,
Right at the same
I
like that
think-
just blow at the same line. Sega and Bungie, like all of Sega versus Bungie and Destiny 2. Like
I mean,
it just
Bungie
blows my
also,
mind that these
it does
small
have the
ones
Myth IP. We can't forget
Yeah.
that amazing Myth
oh
IP.
yeah,
win. Mhm.
Marathon.
it's good.
Marathon,
Yeah.
there you go. Myth and
And,
Marathon.
and something coming.
That's true.
Something new is in development.
Yeah,
So I guess-
and
Yeah,
we have to also remember that Sony's already kind of talked about the film and TV rights for all those amazing Destiny series.
yeah. Is that exciting for anyone? Where they're like, oh man,
Nope.
I just really want to see these
Nope.
Destiny
Not at all to
characters
me.
in like a 6th season, maybe a movie. You know,
I mean,
like that.
I kind of do. If they get Nathan Fillion back for Cade 6, that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
but,
there you go.
I honestly I tried to get into Destiny like twice. Once when it
Mhm.
for first time when it launched, and then a few years ago, I think when it came to Game Pass or something spurred me to play it again. I tried and I just didn't get the lore. That doesn't mean that I don't think that other people shouldn't be crazy about it. I just don't
I feel it's
get
just,
it myself.
it's too deep now for me to dive in. It's just
Yeah.
too complex a lore for me to just be like, I'm going to jump in now.
Well,
Destiny?
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's like
That's-
4
yeah.
expansions now, right?
Oh, for Destiny 2, this is I lost count, but this is going on since 2017 when they relaunched as Destiny
Oh,
2. So
right.
that's like
yeah.
generally like one big expansion per year at least. So
Mhm.
Well, and it's interesting because like, but Destiny, when it was bought by Activision, really went downhill for a lot of players. They were like, oh, it's a lot
It
worse.
wasn't
than
bought.
owned
It
by
was,
them. It was
they were
like,
just published by,
People do
right?
partnership.
yeah, and then they had like a weird breakup where like they just kind of let them go. It was just like,
Mhm.
oh, you can go do your own thing. And since then, I know some people who play Destiny. They're like, oh, it's gotten a lot better. It's like, you know,
Yeah,
it really
I-
has actually.
it
Yeah.
feels. So I'm wondering if like, hey, we're gonna get another company that's sort of like putting something in the sauce too. Is that are we going back to those Activision days, or are
Yeah.
they just gonna let
I
it
think
go?
Sony is more of a publisher and developer conglomerate. I don't even know what you call it anymore. They are a thing that knows how to nurture the people they work with. If you look at Naughty Dog, you look at
Mhm.
Sucker Punch, you look at all the studios, Insomniac, all
Insomniac,
the
yeah.
studios they've worked
Mhm.
with really do bring their A game at all times. I see very few
Right.
first-party Sony studios that release things that are kind of half done or half baked. They really put
Right.
their effort into making something that does look good, plays good, and
Yeah.
it seems like the management behind Sony cultivates that culture.
Yeah. I think it's a wise decision on their part. Like I'm not excited about it at all, but
Mhm.
I think that it certainly makes sense. I think from Sony's point of view, because I think in the short term, like they're trying to I think they're trying to shore up their shooter options, especially considering that like there's a possibility that Call of Duty could go away in a few years. Certainly not immediately, but in a few years.
I think that might
But I
lead
think
to
that
our
they're
next
making-
story, but
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, but I think there's sorry, I didn't not mean to take anything from away from that.
no,
but I think that
I
think
think
that
segue if Chris wanted to take it.
Jeez.
No worries. Go on.
no, I certainly think it's a smart move on their part in multiple ways. Like I think they're thinking of the future. I don't think this is bad. I certainly think that's probably one of the better decisions they've made in a while. Just wish I could get excited for it. I just can't. I don't know. I can't see that far ahead. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm kind of excited by it as a Sony fan and a Destiny 2 player. Like I've been playing it since like since the start of the game, basically.
Yeah.
Like I got Destiny with my PS4 like a month after it launched, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
so I've been on this boat, I guess, for a while. So it's kind of exciting in that way. But
Mhm.
yeah,
You got me
it's
playing Destiny, and then I got busy.
yeah, it's the kind of thing like I play it when the new season drops. Like I'm really looking forward to the new expansion in this month, and then I'll play it for a little while, and I'll come back, every now and then throughout the
Mhm.
season. I'll kind of taper off,
Mhm.
and then just jump back in when the next expansion comes around. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, it is interesting though, in that it does seem like a bit of a reaction to buying Activision and Blizzard on Microsoft's behalf, but
But I mean, like
it takes 5 months to do this, right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't think
been
it's a
in the works for
knee-jerk
months.
reaction.
I mean,
it's worked out quite well.
It is
with that
possible.
Activision thing.
The announcement is a knee jerk. Like, oh, they bought it. Well, now we're announced that we are buying Bungie.
Yeah, it could
Right.
have been they were like, we're saving this for a big
Mhm.
PlayStation showcase in May or
Yeah.
something, and now they're like, well, we
Right.
can announce it now. It's done.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah, some of the creators at Bungie were like, "Oh, I found out this morning before they announced it." So,
Yeah.
like,
that's always
it wasn't,
great. Yeah.
known.
So I think they were keeping pretty tight, close to the vest, and it's more the
Yeah.
fact that this seemed like a good enough time as any. And with
Yeah.
especially with their stock dropping, it was kind of like, okay, we need to do something to show that we're not letting this kind of go,
Yeah.
without kind of striking back.
Well,
Right.
is
Well,
is
I mean,
this
yeah,
like
sir.
the beginning? I mean, we're in February now, but it's been 1 month, and we've gotten these three massive acquisitions across.
I'm going to throw it out. I don't
industry.
think Microsoft's going to buy anything else because they've spent a lot of their war chest on Activision, and with that all
Mhm.
tied up,
Yeah,
I feel that there's going to be a lot of delays on them purchasing anything else.
I mean,
But
they also don't
Sony
need
has-
to. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing. Sony does have a war chest it can spend,
Mhm.
and it has a lot of studios. So if they want right now, if anyone was looking to buy anything, Sony would be the one to kind of do it. So Sega, EA.
Microsoft's earned money.
If you, yeah, I mean, Microsoft only has so much to spend in the gaming division. It has to
Yeah.
kind of spread that money around. Whereas Sony, its biggest division is the gaming division, so or like its high-end cameras and things like that. You know,
Yeah. but
Yeah.
I will say, if Microsoft gets the next acquisition, that'll just be like a not like a death rattle or anything like that. It's not like, oh my gosh, we got you. But it, if Microsoft bought Sega, it'd be like, what's Sony doing? They only spent $3.6 billion last week.
But I feel like that's been going on for a while now, and it wasn't until that huge like 68 billion that we were like, okay, they win, and then there's this, and you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like what's it really changed? Yeah, like they're not going anywhere. At least they're not going to play the shop anytime.
I feel for the biggest problem with Microsoft buying Sega is the Xbox is still having a hard time getting the head road in Japan.
Yeah.
And there's still such a big market saturation of the PS5 there and PS4.
Yeah. Right.
And Sega is such, like, they have Atlas, they have Relic, they have Creative Assembly, and they have there's something else they have. But the point is, any of their Japanese development is so focused on the PlayStation platform. Like half the Persona series or the Shin Megami Tensei series is only released on either the Switch or the PlayStation. Yeah. So if they were to buy Sega, the audience is not there. Like, they would be very hard for Microsoft to say, okay, you all have the PlayStation, the platforms on that. Yeah. Buy your Xbox to continue the series. People will just be, no, I'm just not going to continue the series.
But I think what we're forgetting here, though, is that Microsoft is really not much about. They're not as much about consoles as they were before. They're much more about Game Pass and about securing content.
I know, but the answer is yes. That'd be great to have the new Persona games only on Xbox. But
okay, keep going. Finish the thought.
But if you have it, so if they're exclusive to Xbox. Yeah, they might be on Game Pass, but everyone that would be the majority of people that would play that expect it on PlayStation. So they just won't have the people jumping onto those titles, especially when you have to justify a purchase of a massive studio like Sega.
Okay, all right. So let me just I agree with you. However, I think what I was mentioning earlier, right? Kind of basically we were talking about a $70 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard versus a 3.6 billion acquisition for a potential 3.6 billion.
I think Sega would go more for Sega.
They could. They absolutely could, but they would certainly not go for as much as what Activision Blizzard went for. My point, and I think that what Microsoft should be focused on, right, should be about content, right, because that is where they're really going. And I feel that if Microsoft were to buy Sega, there is absolutely no way in hell they're going to try to make it exclusive. They would go the same route that they're going that Sony is going with. It seems to be at least going for the time being, going with Bungie. Sega would maintain its relative independence and so on, because I think what's more important for Xbox is for them to get those titles that they couldn't get before on their platforms elsewhere. Forget about Japan. Japan is lost already. They're not going to get anywhere there. But on the other hand, there are people around the world who would love to be able to play the certain Sega franchises on their Xbox or in the Xbox ecosystem, and they can't, because for some reason there are these invisible exclusive arrangements that exist between Sony and because they're and these other companies simply because they're Japanese, right? I think that Microsoft purchasing Sega could really open things up for everybody else. That's what I'm saying. But I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just saying that that's where I think it should go if they do. The exclusivity is not going to get them anywhere. What would be the point? As you were saying.
Well, I think I would argue I agree with you, but I don't think Microsoft's in a position to buy Sega right now. For lots of reasons. Things you mentioned earlier, but I do think Sony would actually make things interesting if Sony did purchase it, because
that's my nightmare.
But the thing is,
I feel like we're playing Risk right now.
But Sony,
Sony's going to take over the tiny ones, and then they're going to fight to the death.
Sony is pushing more and more multi-platform. They're pushing for the PC, and they're pushing on
that's the thing.
Like MLB on the Switch now, right?
Yeah, but that's multi-platform. Multi-platform to Sony means our console, PC, maybe Switch.
No,
Xbox.
But like MLB is on
always
Xbox.
been like that.
MLB is on Xbox now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but only because MLB has forced them in. But MLB has forced them in that situation. It's not.
But my point is, if Sony wants to make sure they don't have any kind of like antitrust things going on, the best way to do it is say, we're going to make everything multi-platform. But they'll make exclusive content, or maybe add.
They do exclusive launches.
Yeah, exclusive launches. They might have you get it on a PlayStation, you get it maybe it comes free on Plus and it doesn't come free on Xbox. There's a
You
lot.
get cool Fortnite skins
Oh,
on
yeah.
PlayStation.
Yeah, but
that
there's
I don't
things
feel
I
I
could
would
see
love to see it. I just don't see Sony doing it. That's all.
But the thing is, I don't
The
think
Sony
Microsoft's
that
doing
I
it.
know would never do it.
But Sony's a different studio
Sony's
now.
changed, man.
Yeah.
I will say, Jordan's not
maybe.
here this week, and we haven't talked about
Mhm.
Nintendo, but it's interesting because Nintendo's whole strategy for like 20 years, right, is like, hey, we got Nintendo games, you want to play them, you're gonna buy Nintendo consoles, right? And
Mhm.
so people are talking about like, oh man, Nintendo's not making any acquisitions. It's just Microsoft and Sony they're doing their talking, and it's like, yeah, Nintendo's whole thing is like exclusive, so it's like it almost feels like Microsoft and Sony are like catching up to that or trying to get to that point where Nintendo's doesn't have to duke it out right now because they're like, yo, we got our Marios, we got our Zeldas, we got our Donkey Kongs, and they're only here, so deal with it.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's always
Yeah.
been their strength, and even today they kind of released a statement saying like, "Yeah, no, we're focused on like quality over buying
we're good,
everything.
guys.
Like we like to keep things close to the vest."
Yeah.
And like that's why they ended up in the position they're in too. Like where
Yeah.
since the '90s they haven't had to
Yeah.
worry about any of this stuff. They
Yeah.
just can just stay in their own lane and keep printing money, and
I
everything's
just like
good to
that
go.
they popped in. They're just like, hey, we're here. We're good though.
Yeah,
we're
stop
good.
talking. Yeah, we're not playing Monopoly. We're
We're good. We got
Yeah.
this.
we're not
Yeah.
making a run at Park Place or
I've
anything.
s-
Just
Okay, I just sorry. You gotta bear with me because you're talking to an old timer who was gaming back when Sega
Brendan
left the
older than you?
business. They left the business and they went into this whole platform agnostic strategy, and it was killing me because I had an Xbox and they were putting out all the games that I really wanted to play. They were putting out on consoles I didn't know. Right,
Mhm.
and it was even though
I just stopped
Sega
looking at
wasn't
the other
developing.
consoles. I only play Xbox game on
Yeah.
it.
But anyway, I hope so. I would if Sony were to buy Sega and they were to take a more like how do I say
Holistic?
diplomatic approach to things, that would be great. I just don't believe that they will, but it'd be nice to see.
I
know,
feel that
I don't
yeah,
hate Sony. I don't hate PlayStation.
I think right now it's an arms race, and it's a matter of what you have that other people don't have, but
Yeah.
also the threats of, well, if you hold X thing hostage, we'll hold X thing hostage.
I don't really agree in that. I
I think
don't agree
Microsoft
with
is
that at all.
definitely Xbox is definitely going to hold Call of Duty hostage.
I'm just gonna
Well,
throw this in there.
ultimately, eventually.
No, but I think is
when
I
they
think
can, yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't
No,
make
I
sense
was
for
gonna
them
say
not
something
to.
real
It's
dumb.
70
Just keep going. I'm just
That's-
here for comedic relief.
I
For the amount of
think-
money they paid,
I
wouldn't
really-
surprise me at all. Why would they not? It was
But
just
my
a
point
matter-
is, if Sony has something they need, that's when you start having back and forth. Say, oh, well, you have
Yeah.
Call of Duty hostage. Well, I guess you're not getting the new Persona. You're not getting the new Sonic game. You're not getting the new whatever.
yeah, but don't they already have Bungie for that? Like, I mean, they already have.
But that's one
they
game,
could-
or maybe
they could
two.
do that. They could easily
not?
change their strategy
But I think
and say like,
the-
oh
the-
well, we were saying multi-platform, but in actual fact, multi-platform to us is a little different from what
Here's what
other
we're gonna
people think
do.
multi-platform is.
We're gonna bring out a new version of Monopoly, and it's gonna be all the studios and all of our favorite games, and
Yeah.
that's how we're gonna win this battle.
Mm.
And only-
that's
only
where
two
we're
people
gonna
can
end
play?
that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All
Only
right.
2 people can actually play. Everybody else gets $1, and
And a third one sits off to the side, not doing anything, just holding on to all their chips
All
and
I'm
not
gonna
spending that
say-
money.
Oh,
women
God.
are hated by all.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
Transition.
The winner in all this is the gamers, like the
Mm.
gamers who are looking at the next topic. Right, Chris?
I see what you did there. Yeah,
Not
we've
bad.
already
Well
been talking about
tried.
Activision, Blizzard, and Microsoft, but
Yeah.
it was announced today or this week, sorry, that to no one's surprise that the acquisition deal will be reviewed by the FTC. But that's pretty standard. We all kind of expected that. For a merger of this size, especially, like these things
Mhm.
have to be checked into. Like the whole Disney Fox thing comes to mind. It's
Mhm.
about the same deal, and they had to go through like
Or
a
the
lot
what-
vetting process.
Or the
Yeah.
Warner Brothers Comcast. It was like Warner Brothers Comcast. Yeah,
Or
was
all
that
the things
right?
AT&T
AT&T?
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
AT&T.
Warner Brothers AT&T. That was the one.
So yeah,
There's so many
no big
acquisitions.
surprise there. But do we really think this is going to be a problem?
Yes. I think
you
it
you
will
think
be.
there's a chance of it being held up?
I do think there's a chance to be held up only because of the massive properties at play.
Mhm.
And that's what I was alluding to earlier with the talk of like exclusivity. If Microsoft's going to be like, oh yeah, these things are definitely going to be Xbox exclusive, or Xbox PC exclusive, you have the problem where it looks like a monopoly. It looks like Microsoft's holding it all for their Windows platform or their Xbox platform. And that's really bad for competition, especially when you have a massive property like Call of Duty or a massive property like
Overwatch.
what? Yeah,
Any
there we
other
go.
property like those.
Or Diablo, like that's another one that's pretty big. And when you have those level of properties that Microsoft has the threat of making that's only on their platforms, that looks bad, especially for the purchase of almost $70 billion. So I could see them needing put on paper that these games will always be multi-platform in some way, something like that. And I see that if they don't do something like that, it's going to look really anti-competitive, especially in a marketplace where there is 3 major platforms and the PC. Everyone can kind of get on the PC, so it's not the same thing. Especially because Linux can play a lot of games, and that's not Windows.
And apparently a lot of headphones. I'm still upset about that.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a lot of legal back and forth. And I think it's going to be a lot of on paper saying these are the things that will happen. These are how it's going to work. And these are how it's going to look for gamers for the next 10 years. And it can't just be a vague, it'll probably stay multi-platform. I think they're going to look at it and say, how are you going to keep things competitive? And if they don't have a good answer, especially because it's going for the STC, but it also has to go through the European Trade Commission. And they're a lot more strict. They're a lot more anti-monopoly there. And they're the ones that made Microsoft take out Edge from Windows when you install Windows in Europe. So it's going to be a lot.
Yeah,
so that's why Windows N exists, just because it has no Edge installed. So
I really need a graphic for that.
Yeah, we should.
So I do see this being a real weird thing, and Microsoft's going to have to do some wheeling and dealing to make sure that they can push this through, just because of the size of the properties they're dealing with.
Should we place bets on how long it's going to take?
I'm guessing a year.
Year?
Maybe longer. It depends how
Even
much.
with like how messy Activision is right now.
Oh yeah, and you also the fact of the other thing that's going on is the unions. Microsoft does not want to look union busting, but they really don't want those unions in place when they take over the studios.
Yeah,
and it kind of acts like a poison pill right now for Microsoft buying Activision, because if they keep the unions and they say, "Oh no, we're keeping the unions," that's less useful to them. It means that it's a union studio. It means all the studios are going to want to unionize afterwards.
right.
If they bust it beforehand and make sure that there's no unions, they look real bad, and it might spur other people in the other studios Microsoft owns to unionize. So that is going to be really hard for Microsoft moving forward. And I don't know how they're going to play it, or because they can say, "Oh, we're the good guys. You don't need to unionize," but then the people will be like, "Well, what if if you're good, the union won't have any problems for you."
Yeah. You know, am I the only one who really doesn't want this merger to happen? Like I as much as I'm an Xbox fanboy, but I really don't care about this. Like I feel like other than chasing Call of Duty money, and yes, they'll have access to a lot of IPs that they may or may not resurrect. I mean, honestly, I'd be more excited if they were buying everything at Activision but Call of Duty.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like because I think the rest of the IPs and content that they have is certainly far more interesting to me than keeping Call of Duty alive. Call of Duty is fated to go the way of the dodo, and so be it. There's other things that will replace it.
And it's like a weird situation where like all these IPs, most of them, like you could play them. I mean, you can't really play like World of Warcraft on console, but you can play it on PC. You can do it. You're playing Call of Duty. You're playing your Overwatch. So and now like, hey, I've been playing these on Xbox, and now I can keep playing them on Xbox. Yay! And then it's also like, and maybe my neighbor who I don't like because he's a Sony guy, it's like he can't play it, so I feel good about myself. Like, it's
that's
like
the only way I live my life. Is that
it's like
how
a
we're
weird.
supposed to do it?
Yeah, I hate my neighbor, so.
But
it's like not so much of a big win unless you're thinking big picture, but it's not even like it's like a big win for like Microsoft shareholders, right? And it's like for the average gamer, I don't know if it's like what it's really gonna do.
I don't think it's going to do much. Like I don't think the Bethesda purchase I understood. They bring a lot of people in house. They're bringing those. Even then, sure, whatever. But the Activision purchase, it's a large purchase. most of the things Activision does to make money don't matter for the Xbox brand. Like King won't do anything for Microsoft, so who cares? Like, yeah, Candy Crush was huge for a while, but I don't really want to play Candy Crush on my Xbox anytime soon, so who cares of that? It does exist, but yeah.
Candy Crush Battle Royale.
Well, mobile is big in Japan. Maybe they feel that that's maybe one way back in.
But I don't think Candy Crush is big in Japan.
No, but I mean, they can make something else.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just,
unless they make a weird like gotcha game based on anime, I don't think they're going to do much.
And what happens to the like they're making a brand new IP right now,
Yeah.
right? Is that so? That's Activision Blizzard.
That's Activision
not
Blizzard.
Microsoft at the moment.
Yeah,
Right.
But
Yeah.
do you think that'll change it all by the time? It's like it takes a minute to make a game, considering they're just
Yeah.
hiring people right now.
Well,
right?
it's kind of a survival game, which is similar to like Rust or those sort of things.
Yeah,
which are huge.
And
right
I
now.
don't really think that genre is going to be big for the next 5 years. It seems like Blizzard's chasing a trend rather than making a trend.
Yeah, I mean, like looking at like Valheim, was that last year? Like
Last
2 years
year,
ago?
yeah.
It's huge, and it's like great. It's like all those people who chase the battle royale after.
Yeah,
and you know some got
Fortnite
successful.
for one because it started with PUBG, then Fortnite.
Yeah. I mean,
afterwards,
Fortnite chased it, Apex chased it, but the rest are like gone, right? Like they're not. You're not really hanging around. I'm curious. Oh yeah, and then there was the Blazinski game.
Yeah, that was more chasing Overwatch though.
Oh yeah, no, but he did that one, and then they released the battle royale that lasted a week or something.
It lasted like a week. So, like it was all like store-bought assets. They're like, it'll be fixed eventually.
Yeah.
Never played it is now part of history.
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be interesting though, because the longer this is delayed with the FTC and that thing, I don't think we're gonna see Activision Blizzard games for a while. Because first of all, we're getting this like from if I'm working at Activision Blizzard, I'm working on Overwatch 2, let's say, I don't really know what my situation is in a year. Let's say the game's not out in a year, and then are they gonna like switch it at Microsoft? Are they gonna let it? Like, are they gonna do sweeping changes with it? Are they gonna let them go? And there's just so much uncertainty. And the longer it's delayed, they don't really know what's going on. So it's like, I feel like they're in a space right now where they have to like work until they're acquired, but they know that they're already being acquired, but they don't know when it's going to happen. So it's like a weird standstill time.
It's like feeling sad for those people that worked at Target the week that Target was closing. They're like, oh, bad things are happening to you in 5 days.
But can you turn on the fixtures while you're here? Just spend the last few days to take everything down. That'd be great.
Yeah, I don't really know what for gamers this means. Like, I don't know if the Activision deal goes through, other than people that really love the Xbox brand over the games they play, because who cares? It doesn't really matter because most of the things Activision makes right now are multi-platform anyways. Other than the fact that Sony had a deal with Activision where they got some of the stuff first, only because there's more players of Call of Duty on the PlayStation platform over the Xbox platform. That's why Activision made that deal. So I don't really know what this is going to really do, other than the fact Microsoft controls some big IPs. But Activision has let most of its IPs die over the last few years. So the only really big ones are what Blizzard makes and Call of Duty.
Well, there's the potential for them to make great things out of the IPs that are languishing, but
But even then,
but who knows who's gonna? I would feel more confident if I knew what studios were actually behind them. Do they have a pedigree? Are they known for making this kind of stuff? Who knows? I don't want another Battletoads. I do not want to see another Battletoads game. Like, dear God, what were they thinking, right?
Bethesda, I mean, not Bethesda. Activision Blizzard is just so huge, and they have so many employees under them, where it's not like Microsoft's there, so there's like extra employees, but they're I think they're by far the biggest studio now at Microsoft. Or I was looking at a bar graph, a pie chart that made it look like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it dwarfs anything else they have, only because they have a lot of different studios all working on one game. Like, I think it's like 7 studios all working on Call of Duty, where no other property in Microsoft's portfolio has more than 1 or 2 working on any one property. Yeah, and even most studios are working on 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So it's weird to see one company coming with so many different development studios in the portfolio that are all working on 1 to 2 games, and that's just weird.
Yeah.
Like, you have Beanox, you have Infinity Ward, you have
Toys for Bob.
Yeah.
And then you have Treyarch, Raven. The list goes on, and they're all working on one game, and that's insane.
Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking earlier when you were mentioning all the legal loopholes they're going to have to jump through. They're going to explain gaming to lawmakers and the FTC people who aren't necessarily in touch with that whole industry. Like the legal industry has famously underestimated and understood or misunderstood the gaming industry. So that could be a big obstacle in itself, just trying to make them understand what exactly this deal means and what multi-platform means to people.
Well, it also could mean, much like the Disney deal with Fox, part of the company is going to have to be broken up. So they might say, "Oh, you already have a game like that might be competing with this game. You're going to have to sell off that one studio to take over."
Yeah.
Like they only make one game anyway, so it's like that's no loss to produce Treyarch necessarily.
Well, they might claim Call of Duty is too similar to Halo because they don't understand how it works. And like, you have to get rid of that shooter because you can only have one shooter in the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I never even thought about that.
You know, but I mean, another thing that makes me, or that I constantly wonder about with this merger, right, is this like Game Pass, right? According to all the people that I listen to online, you know, on the podcast and so on, they say that Game Pass is one of the greatest deals in gaming. I would tend to agree about that. But that said, isn't there a point where this is going to become unsustainable? Like where it might already be unsustainable as it is, and then you bring in this purchase, and now basically it has to support all the Call of Duty studios as well. It's
now I could be wrong.
The price is going to go up, right? And for what?
I don't know. Netflix just went up, and I'm gonna be.
And that's what I was going to bring up the fact that
$22 a month in Canada now.
Well, my point is, you look at Netflix. Netflix has been in the red.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about 4K.
We're killing Brendan.
Yeah.
I got 4 accounts on it. So
mine's
anyway, Brendan.
So
sorry, Brendan.
Anyways, if you look at Netflix's financials, they've been in the red since they've started, and the growth has stopped.
Right.
And you're going to have the same problem with Game Pass. Yes, there's more people buying PlayStation Plus right now, et cetera, but they have to have constant growth to support Game Pass working. Right. And eventually it's going to get to a point when they reach negative growth, where people just don't want to pay for it anymore. They don't need that amount of games. And at that point, they're going to have to start raising the prices to fluctuate, like kind of level it out for investors.
That plays into what I was going to say, though, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Xbox right now just got into a little bit of trouble or is having to revamp the way they do things because they were just letting people resubscribe when they didn't want to. They were just sorry, we took your money.
EU again, where the EU is like, you can't force people to resubscribe automatically. You have to tell them, you have to check it out.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel that's going to start leading to Microsoft having to
all of this free money that do you know how many random subscriptions I have? Like I have something that went onto my credit card the other day that's like $4. I'm like, I remember doing that, but I have no idea what it was. And I feel that now that Xbox is no longer allowed to play that game in some places, they might be eating it soon.
And I feel that that's going to lead to Game Pass going up in price.
Yeah.
And after a certain point, when is it like, something, I'll just buy that one game I play a month.
But think about it. How many, we're all gamers here. How many games, like full price, $80, $90 games, do you think you normally buy in a, say, 2-month period?
One
for you?
Yeah.
What about
in a 2-month period?
Say in a 2-month period. Like, how often does a new game come out that you want? Would you?
I don't want to incriminate myself now here.
See, and that's why, like, Brendan, you're not into like big mainstream games.
Yeah.
Whereas
but the Game Pass doesn't have a lot of those day one.
But
release.
they do now.
They're starting.
So
having
my thought
Halo.
is, I would pay $80 maybe every 2 months. $40-$50 a month. If those games were there.
But then again, you're not keeping those games. Like the point is, if you
exactly. I'm not going to pay $80 and I can't keep the game.
Yeah, that's the problem. And right now, Game Pass, it's a great deal at like $15-$20 because it gives you a library. It gives you like $16-$17 or something like that.
Yeah.
But my point is,
like right now, it's the BMG Music Club of gaming, basically. Like you get to trial this stuff for. That's the way I see it, anyways. As a casual Xbox player, is that like I get to trial these things. Halo came out. No, I'm not too keen on buying the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can play it day one. Okay, I'll check it out on Game Pass.
Right.
And I'm using it to play all the little indie games that I would never ever buy because I usually don't think I'd care.
The funny thing is that I'm of two minds of it because I mean I guess we'll probably get to this when we talk about what we're playing, but since Halo Infinite came out. And I don't actually own the game,
Right.
but I have been diving into the multiplayer every week. I've spent money on the multiplayer on the multiplayer and a little bit on the cosmetics because I just
You have the
figured,
cat ears?
hey, I didn't play. No, I
Okay.
did not have the cat ears.
Oh man.
But
Boo.
I feel like, well, I didn't pay for the game, right? It's
Right.
on it's part of my Game Pass subscription. So yeah, I'm going to throw them a few bucks. This game is a great game. I'm going to throw them a few bucks and at least show that I appreciate that they made this game. There are other games that on Game Pass that I've actually bought because I simply don't want them to go away when they leave Game Pass or whatever. I own all the Yakuza games now digitally because I don't want to see them go away. Because I intend to finish every single one of them someday. So there's that. But on the other side, sometimes I feel like there's so much coming to Game Pass. I don't understand how I'm supposed to. How am I supposed to play all this stuff?
My biggest thing for
I can
Game
only
Pass
handle
is
so much.
My biggest thing with Game Pass is it doesn't give you a clear definition of how long those things are staying. So you have like, oh, this new game from Sega is coming, or this new game from
Check out
Activision's
CGM
coming.
to see what's leaving Game
Yeah.
Pass.
But you also
But
like,
Netflix doesn't do that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but you have like a game and you're like, oh, I love this game. I really want to try it. And it just like, oh no, this month is going away.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've already played it almost all the way through. Do I now buy it? Or do I say screw it and just kind of say that I'm never finishing that game? Like, that's going to be a lot of people's.
Or buy it at the 20%. Buy it at the 20% discount.
Yeah,
right. Because while it's still in there, you still get the 20% discount.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's a good
Optimal
point.
Push makes a good point. Through Game Pass, he was able to try a bunch of games and pick them up in that way. And not everybody's going to do that, but it is great. Now that's not Xbox being sustainable necessarily.
Yeah,
that's supporting each individual game.
Do you guys?
It's something.
Well, Game Pass is Xbox, to be honest.
No, the Game Pass is, but buying the games once you've tried.
Microsoft does get a.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you guys pay the full price for Game Pass?
I've started to because they stopped doing the sales. I used to buy.
Yeah.
I used to stack the memberships, right, and just buy a year in advance. And so every year, but now they don't do the sale. I figured, well, I'll wait until some opportunity comes up, and I'll just pay the regular price for now. There is, I'm sorry, my cord's too short. There is apparently a way that you can actually save money on Game Pass if you basically let it expire, and then essentially wait for a sale on Xbox Live, right? Purchase 3 years of that, right, and then upgrade that via the dollar deal that Microsoft's always offering that's still out there to get to, and it upgrades to 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate. Apparently it works. I'm not sure if I want to risk it, but you can do it.
And you don't even have to lock yourself in for 3 years. Like
I just do it because that's the maximum you can do.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't want to think about it for 3 years.
That is commitment.
Yeah, but like
hey,
every
I've
time
been with Xbox since the beginning, so
that's fair.
Yeah. So I got there like 3 months, and it was like, I don't know, it was like $5 or something. It was the deal, right? And then I let it expire, and then like a week later, they're like, "Want to try it again for another month for 99 cents?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." So then I did it again, and then I let it expire, and then 2 weeks later, they're still doing like when
I'm
it
telling
expires,
you, I do that with HelloFresh.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like let your.
But then
Game
you
Pass
have to
expire.
take that little like break though. You have to have that like week.
Go
of...
see your family.
There's
Go
that risk where you're
outside.
thinking,
I don't know.
Is Microsoft going to change? You're thinking there's that little gap where it's like, is Microsoft going to change that policy? And did I just screw myself?
Well,
by
I don't know.
3 years
And if
I
they
feel
do,
like
it's
a bad
2 weeks,
girlfriend
right?
storming out and saying, "You have to chase me."
Yeah.
I've changed.
Why
I've
not?
changed. I'm $1 again. See?
Well, I know this is going to sound dumb, but when Xbox One launched, right? I remember there were certain people that were getting this random Xbox Live members who basically got like free games and free stuff in the mail because their account had been open since the very beginning of Xbox Live. But for those of us who started late, who come in a little bit later, or maybe they had an issue with Microsoft's like
they were children
policy or whatever, or their account, but for one reason or another, their account stopped and then started again. Those people all got screwed. So when I think about doing that, taking advantage of that deal, I keep thinking, but what am I going to miss out on? What am I going to miss?
What if they give me a prize later? I want a trophy. All right.
So,
What
yeah,
else
I'll,
do we have?
Yeah. Moving
I
on.
was about to say that we've spent a lot of time talking about Sony and Microsoft, but we'd be remiss if we didn't air some Nintendo dirty laundry as well.
Ooh.
Because
Besides
this week,
the "Hey, we're good" comment.
yeah, no, that was noble and well phrased of them, I think, to say like, hey, we're not just leave us out of your little fantasy football discussions here. We're not buying anything right now. But while everyone else is up snapping up properties and studios, Nintendo is instead continuing to strike copyright infringements on YouTube. This week they hit a staggering 2200. I can't do numbers. 2200 copyright strikes on one single channel, Gilva Sunner, this week, essentially making him shutter his account. He has a bit of a history with them. They started striking his content in December 2019, and then again back in December 2020. Hit him last week for 1,300 infringements, and now again with like this huge staggering amount. So yeah, Nintendo is fiercely defensive of its copyrights, and people are not happy about that. What do you guys think?
So what is he doing with it? Like I haven't quite understood what's happening here.
So he basically just posts the soundtrack so that they're available to listen to on YouTube. So you type in Super Mario Sunshine.
Okay, so it's not like he was, doing their stuff in a stream and everybody attacked them. He was just like, here, take this.
Yeah.
Same idea, I suppose. Yeah. If it was in a stream, it'd probably be just Twitch strikes instead of YouTube strikes.
Yeah.
But
YouTube does the streaming.
Yeah. I like this strategy by Nintendo. Like, don't ban everyone, but ban one person. Like, one
Real
week,
badly.
go after one
Very
person.
loudly.
Like you're next on the Nintendo hit list, then like your career is over. Blah, 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 blah.
See, Alex, you know how to be a parent. Just take one kid down, and then they'll all.
Yeah, and the rest will fall in line. The rest will be like,
Make an example,
no,
yeah.
I don't want my account to do it. And then Xbox would be like, we'll give you Game Pass for 99 cents for 1 month. And then it's like, well, okay. Good stuff. That's just so strange that it's just like, I mean, yeah, he has the past stuff, so, but just like the headline of like, yeah, this guy got like 2,200 copyright strikes this week. It's like,
he's had a history though. You had to see this coming.
Just,
like
how many strikes? Like,
Yeah.
starting 2 years ago. Like, come on, man. Like he had to see this coming.
It's not like it was Tuesday, and then.
Yeah. And
And
like a week ago was.
I don't know how big he is, but like he's in the news now at least. And whatever he does next, I feel like it might be a good opportunity for him to have like a following where it's like, oh, you're the guy who got 2,200 copyright strikes against you. Nice.
I mean,
You're so badass.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Start streaming Microsoft games or something. Like you can't obviously stream Nintendo games because that's a little too close to home. But
I don't know.
What happened?
Sorry, nothing. We're
Was
just
there like a
being
sound issue?
unprofessional.
Yeah.
No.
You're good.
Some news. I wasn't sure if we should bring it up or not.
Oh, okay.
Breaking
give me
news.
it then. Give me it and don't just hold it like that. Okay, go amongst yourselves. Our stream was over top of it, so I couldn't read it.
Yeah, I mean, people love to give Nintendo crap for copyright strikes and for protecting their IPs like this and striking down tournaments and all this stuff. At the same time, like they're well within their rights to. I mean, is it the best thing to do? Is it the best image? No, but it's within the rights, and
Can't they just put their music on Spotify, like or something? Like I wonder why there's always seems to be like with Nintendo there
'Cause they
always
don't
seems
want
to be
to.
like this iron grip that they've
And we
always.
just
seemed to
discussed earlier with games. We're like,
Yeah.
and it works. Good for them. So
if even one kid,
I'm not saying that it's not their right. I just
yeah.
wonder about their.
I mean, like if one kid listens
image.
to Super Mario on Spotify, Nintendo will crumble. So they just can't do
Yeah,
it.
they have to stop that.
They'll go bankrupt. Like they'll get acquired by Microsoft, and then like no, we
for
can't.
99 cents, it's like a whole thing.
Can't go through
Okay.
it.
Brendan has some big news that just came out, but
Yep.
we have to
Okay.
be careful what we say about it.
So
Okay.
Ghostwire Tokyo has a release date, and it is March 25th, 2022.
Ooh.
And just in case anyone just in regard to our earlier conversation, it will be coming to PS5. Just in case anyone was wondering.
Wow. What a shock.
So they literally just dropped the date today.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
Just now. Yeah.
just,
Just
like
now.
literally.
That
Well,
was me
like
attempting to
an
read
hour
it
ago.
in front of you all.
That's
cool.
literally they
What?
had a PlayStation blog on it, and they still didn't mention it even there. Okay,
No.
but, all right.
We have to make
That's good to
announcements
know.
at 9:47 p.m. Eastern time.
You know how
That
some
is-
podcasts like have announcements come after? We're like perfect timing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
good job, guys. Oof.
We did it. High fives. No, okay.
So
no,
that's
okay.
good.
Count
That's
it
good.
as
That
an
means-
exclusive then.
So
or-
that means that I'll basically on the 20. You said it was the 22nd, right?
Wait.
5th
I'm
in
going to double check.
2022.
25th.
The
That's March.
25th.
March.
Great. So basically, I have until the 25th in 2023 to play the damn game because I won't be able to play it until then.
Boo.
Uh,
There you go.
It
All
looks
right,
cool.
Chris, you can have the reins back. Sorry.
yeah, no. Right. Breaking news. Yeah, actually, I would to throw it back to you, actually, Dana, because it's something that I know you were pretty excited about. Huawei's FreeBuds lipstick is now available in Canada. Why don't you remind us a little about that one?
Go get it. It's here. It's in the kitchen.
Can you
It's
listen
not
with it?
open.
Does it
No,
make
I can't
music?
right now.
I'm very
While
glad
I
you
do
have
that,
the product in hand, though, because
it's like playing glasses with your no. Okay, we're gonna awkwardly. Oh no, Brendan's gonna open it while I talk. Yeah, this is part of what I got to go to Austria for way back in the day. I podcasted from Austria. They are questionable. I love Huawei. I am very good friends with Huawei because I like their products. However, this one makes me feel so. Look, we're unboxing, guys. It's our first unboxing. I'm gonna rip this paper though, because I am. All right. So these actually look pretty slick, and I thought I was gonna hate them because I hate the way that they're branded and the way they're marketed. I am a girl, and I've put on lipstick a couple times tonight, but I don't need everything I own to look like lipstick. But these are them. They now have my fingerprints on them. They're actually pretty slick. I don't know if you can see it says Huawei right there. We're going to open this up. And there's your lipstick.
So are those buds?
They are.
And do they like come off or?
Oh, okay, that's pretty neat.
And then this is magnetic back together. And it's like weighty. You want to play with it?
Add some weight to it. It does look like a lipstick container.
Yeah.
So it's those are headphones though. Those are not.
They are
lipstick
indeed.
things.
No,
and it's
they
just
are
no
in
indeed.
a
lipstick
lipstick
involved.
container.
They are indeed.
So
They're very dangly.
Yeah, like try to take.
Don't mix them up in the
I feel
morning.
like earrings
mix them up
maybe
in the
would
Pop
have
the
been
other end
amazing.
off, and it's the actual lipstick. Yeah,
They're trying
it's
to
very
carry
James
something.
Bond. Yeah.
It's a cool color.
But yeah, they're
Nice
they're
red.
something. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, but these are my new toy. They're mine. That's why I just shoved them in my ear.
So they are now.
This is one of my next reviews. But yeah, they just announced the Canadian release date that I don't know because I'm not looking at the
That's
news
cool.
article right now.
Yeah, they're
I'm just opening it up.
pre-orderable for February 8th.
And I think you get something extra with it if you pre-order.
You get
it.
latency. No.
A bunch of paper.
I don't know what you get, but they are $348. These
They
are
are no
premium.
joke.
Whoa.
That is really expensive.
Because
I did
like
tell you I wanted the next
Whoa.
expensive pair, didn't I?
the other free buds I thought were like maybe like $200, maybe a bit
Yikes.
cheaper.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if
I'm
internally
just
they're
gonna
like that
let
much
you
nicer.
guys know, since we've got a bunch of gentlemen here. You know the pink tax? Are you guys
Damn.
aware of what that is?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
at least it's $150 at least. That's crazy.
Yeah. This is our pink tax because this is marketed to women.
That's wild.
That's
Yeah.
bonkers.
They are
expensive.
definitely going to be more expensive because they're marketed to women. But
I'm
actually,
wondering if they changed the interior at all, or they were just like, no, put it in a case or something.
well,
That'd
we'll
be
find
interesting.
out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited
Yeah.
to read this review. So
Yeah, it's good. It's weighty. But actually, when we were in Austria looking at them, I keep almost saying Australia. I thought I was going to hate it. Like we knew what it was called beforehand, and I was really really mad about it for a while. And then I saw them, and I went, "Damn it, I kind of want them." Not because like I wish they were just called something else. I don't mind
Yeah.
that they look this way. Like I probably would have been like, "Oh, that's kind of neat," but. My thought were a lot of men aren't going to go buy a lipstick.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's immediately going to alienate a chunk. But the guys there were like, no, actually, those look pretty cool. I'd buy them. We might not talk about what
they
they're
look really
called.
sleek, like the packaging. And
Yeah.
Yeah, they
like-
are. They are. And I could
It's
probably
James
kill a man with
Bondian. Yeah.
this. Like,
Yeah.
there, our first unboxing.
Wow.
Just waiting for the next 007 movie where Q hands
I need to
007.
listen.
Here's your gun hidden in a lipstick container.
Yeah.
Also, there's earbuds in the other end. Go nuts.
Mhm.
Speaking of actually,
There's the charger. Just found it.
speaking of the pink tax and things designed for gamer girls,
That's me.
tell us how you feel about the Xbox OPI crossover.
Kind of confused.
Oh,
again.
you mean the controllers? Those
The-
those
the controllers and the nail polish.
The
the
controller
nail,
and nail
yeah, the
polish
nail polish
complement.
themed
There's an
controllers.
entire nail polish line to go with Xbox Game Pass games.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's weird.
Do you guys
For all
want to
the,
ask me
the-
what women really want? It's definitely nail polish
Master
named
Chief.
after. Yeah, I think.
Master Chief.
Yeah, like, what world did someone think this is okay? Like,
Or the car from Forza? Okay. Wow.
like I just there. Alex has all the information. I'm just here to be mad for a minute.
Oh god.
And to be clear, I'm a girly girl. I love nail polish. I love like fun. Every time we get a fun colored controller, Brendan's like, "Do you want it?" And I do. But I don't get this.
Mhm.
It's a little offensive, and I don't get offended easily. Go ahead, Alex. You look excited about a name.
No, so it's the classic like buy a real product, get a code. So you get an exclusive car in Forza if you buy $20 worth of the collection, and the other thing you can do is if you buy it on Amazon, you get a Halo Infinite skin when you spend $20 or more. So
There you go.
That's really
Curious
dumb.
what that skin is then. Yeah.
it's
Is
pretty
it all
nice.
pink?
Chris
No,
is gonna go shopping for his
like
wife.
it's like a blue purpley like a starry thing. It
Yeah,
looks
I'm trying
really
to
nice.
get to the
the
page.
colors are really pretty.
Yeah.
It should be on the front page. The colors are pretty. I believe there's some sort of you can get a controller that matches your nails if you win a contest or something along those lines.
Or Halo Infinite exclusive armor coating.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
like-
yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I don't mind the color, to be honest with you, but I'm not going to buy a lipstick for that. No.
I
No,
might.
this is nail polish.
$20.
Nail
This
polish.
is the lipstick.
Nail you.
That's the nail
My
Tech is very simple.
member berries. Member berries. Yeah.
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 It's a whole feeling, and like I don't know. Like I said, I'm a bad feminist sometimes. I run right for the dumb girly stuff, but I don't like it. I am a gamer girl, and I don't need everything to be pink. I don't need everything to be shiny and sparkly. You know, it's just
That is-
it's what it is.
That is one sparkly Spartan armor there.
There you go.
I genuinely.
Sometimes I do need sparkles, but I feel
sorry, I
like it doesn't
kinda
have
dig
to
it.
be just.
I really do kind of dig it.
So like I genuinely want that armor, but it is US only,
Yeah.
so you can't even do it.
Yeah.
And to do
So
it, you need
Canadian
to-
women are screwed too.
Yeah, no, always. But
Once
you
again.
need to buy it off Amazon, and you need to screen grab your Amazon invoice number, visit this other
Yeah, it's
website,
too much
post it
work.
there, wait 48
You
hours.
did like a
you
lot of
email
That
recon
is so
in
weird.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you've been
I don't know.
busy.
But I will say this
Yeah.
skin is going to be one of the rarest ones in Halo, and when I see it, I'll be
I
like, "That's
know.
really cool," and I wish I had it. 'cause-
Yeah.
And it's gonna really stand out because
Exactly.
everyone plays like basic gray skins in that
Yeah.
game right now. So
Yeah, I mean, you
there
gotta.
go.
But is that good?
think
Do you want
about
to
it.
stand out? Do you
All
want to
the
be like
stuff-
stealthy?
Especially with the cosmetic, like being able to buy a lot of these cosmetics, right? Like now, when I jump into a game of Halo Infinite and you see someone in a flashy outfit, right? It doesn't mean anything anymore. It doesn't mean that they earned it. Like you're like, oh my god, I better watch out for this guy. He must have played thousands of hours. It's like, no, he went on the store and he bought like the latest promo suit that they had or whatever. It means nothing. Meanwhile, when you see a sparkly Halo armor like this
You
one,
know that they bought $20
you know
worth
that
of nail
they
polish on
friggin' didn't
Amazon.
You know that they live in
They
the
didn't
US. You know they took that picture of their like receipt. It's like
This
that's
is
cool.
becoming
Exactly.
unsafe now. I now know where they live.
Yeah, right. But if
Hmm.
anybody's listening from the US, I genuinely would like it. So maybe we can
Yeah.
like
So you
know,
just
figure it out.
Get at us in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're not offering bad things. They're not like I don't hate the nail polish. I don't hate the feminine controllers. I don't know. Maybe
It's like
I'm just mad to be
Sony's
mad.
offering customization options to match your controller to your PS5 skins, like your console covers.
Oh,
Xbox is like, oh, hey, your hands can match the controllers now. That's
yeah.
anyone into that?
I'll just wear black gloves and then I'll be fine.
Well, there you
Like,
go.
I'm good.
It just seems like a bit of a relic of like early 2000s. Like guys, girls game too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I said that. I think
To
I
prove
said that
it,
in my.
we'll sell expensive nail polish.
Hey.
I'm one of the few girls that does tech at CGM, and I get all the pink crap. Not because I have to, but because I mean, why not?
Mhm.
But that's how companies market to us. Like
yeah.
I don't like baby pink. I like hot pink, just so we're clear. And I've got the full Razor Quartz baby pink set. I've got
That's a
the
nice set.
HyperX baby pink thing. Like, just
Mm.
I like other things. I'm just
I'm
saying.
just trying to find how much a bottle of this polish costs. Actually, like you say, it's about
That's
buying
like
20 bucks worth.
studio grade polish. So like if you go to a salon and get your nails done, that is a brand that they use. There's actually, I believe, a chunk of the line that you can only buy through salons.
Really?
So
Yeah.
when they say buy $20 worth of polish to get the Master Chief skin or whatever, like that's probably what, 2
maybe
bottles.
3 max.
No, it says here, purchase $20 worth of OP Xbox Selection products. So it's not like they're expecting you to buy like a really expensive thing, right? But I mean, I don't know. I guess it all depends on how expensive you think nail polish should be. But $20 US, $20 US. Yeah, this says $20 US, I guess. So I'm thinking, okay, like if it's something that you're gonna do anyway, why not? It's like I got the Chips Ahoy skin, right? Which is absolutely ridiculous. It's like when I run around in that
but
thing,
at least cookies.
I literally look like one of those rainbow rainbow Smarties. Like that's essentially what. And it's funny is that I got it before the game. This is before the Halo was delayed by a year, right? And that promo was on, and the picture that they sent me of the armor was like this bluish outfit with some hints of like orange in there, yellow, and hints of orange and yellow here and there. But the actual suit I got a year later was like brilliant orange and like with smarty red, smarty blue pieces. And
See, that happens in Fortnite a lot too.
I literally tweeted a photo to them. And I said, like, what the hell happened, guys?
The game was delayed.
You've changed.
But hardly anybody has that
Fortnite
suit.
A lot
So,
too.
hey.
You get like PlayStation gets exclusive skins, and I have my account set up through PlayStation, even though I'm an Xbox player, so I can go on and get them every once in a while. There's skins there that were only available in season 1. So like when you look at them, you do know that. But then there's also, I bought Ariana Grande. I didn't, but you know what I mean? So
that's actually a good point, Kari, that if you're gonna be buying this stuff anyways, if you're a gamer who likes nail polish more than like we're kind of ragging on it a little bit, but there is a crossover.
With you.
I bought Rockstars that had the Halo Infinite thing to get the friggin' black and gold armor coating or whatever. Like
the Jeep? Did you get the Jeep?
And the gun,
color? Like that I'm jealous of, because you see the Jeep, you see that color when you're running around in big team battle, and you're like, what the hell? Like that
gold,
looks cool. It's
badass,
gold,
yeah. I feel a little embarrassed actually about it because I'm like, I bought a lot of Rockstar to get this. It's kind of sad in a way, but
As long as you
speaking of
drank
Halo, well, I did actually, but that's another story. December was a rough month. Anyways, speaking of Master Chief, we got a new trailer for the Halo series this week.
Yes.
It's a good thing we have the big Xbox fan here. How'd you feel about that, Kari?
You know what's so funny? I was so busy with Dying Light, I didn't even I barely even looked at it.
Are you jazzed for the series?
You know what? We've already seen this. This has happened twice before, so I'm already in some form or another, and they were not good. I will say that it looks better than anything that I've seen before. I'm literally side-eyeing it right now as I talk to you.
Give us your thoughts.
And what was it? Porn Stash? Was it Porn Stash is Master Chief? So I'm like, I guess
I'm so happy you know that.
I'm interested to see how he vocalizes the Chief, but I am actually not. I mean, I'm literally getting. I'm one of those people that when I see something that I'm excited about or I'm interested in, I usually go radio silent. If I don't have to actually watch it. I probably should have watched the trailer, but I just got so caught up with other things. But it looks really good. I'm actually really impressed, and as far as how it looks. But I didn't read the books or any of that. I'm basically a Halo fan of the games. I'm not a Halo fan of the lore, right? Beyond what they already present
right now. So there's that. Did not know that I didn't know it was books.
They came out with tie-in books. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, but then they also sort of like retconning themselves with it too. So
there was that one really awesome this is taking me really. This is back when I was working for another outlet, like 2 outlets ago. But I remember when they had the Halo version of the Animatrix. It was that compilation of short stories, and that probably taught me more about Halo's lore than anything that I saw outside of the games. And that was actually pretty cool. There were some stories in there that were real. They weren't just like oh well, let's just try an anime. See what if we mix Gundam with Halo, what do we get? Like there were actual stories that related to the lore and explained the whole thing with the the Forerunners and
Yep.
whatever they're called. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I'm excited for this. They say that it's going to be on what streaming platforms? Like, is it
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount
what
Plus? Oh,
does that
okay.
like? I've seen stuff from Paramount Plus, and I've never watched Paramount
Crave
Plus. So where
sometimes
does
gets
that
it.
go? Like, where are we really gonna watch it?
Crave is a
Like,
weird entity. Yeah.
Yeah, Crave,
Wow.
I think, gets a lot of stuff that isn't like fully here.
Yeah.
Where are we gonna watch it?
But maybe Xbox is going to have something weird. Who knows? But I do.
Yeah, that would make
I
sense
do-
for them to have like promotions. Like, hey, here's a free month of Paramount. Go watch Halo and talk about how good it is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
do find
that would be a good
interesting
idea.
that
Because I certainly don't plan on buying it otherwise. Playing it otherwise.
There's a side of the internet right now that is upset with the trailer because it focused on more than just Master Chief and actually showed other characters, like a woman. And there's a group of Xbox fans.
Cortana,
and
right?
Others. No, not
No.
Cortana. I mean, I'm sure that was a thing that people
There's
were like,
three
They're
why is
design-
Cortana wearing
Cardinals or
clothing?
whatever they're called.
Yeah.
People are gonna push back on her design, I guess, too.
But I know
But
there was
that's expected.
the main woman that was shown in the trailer.
Mhm.
A lot of the Halo fandom that is vocal. Let's be clear, it's probably a very small minority that is
It's only
vocal.
the bad ones.
But they're all upset at the fact that there's more people talking and actually having roles than Master Chief, and it's supposed to be Master Chief's thing, not this woke
That
future.
sounds like a really boring
what the heck?
movie. We saw it. It was Castaway, and there
Why
was
are
probably
aliens in this
Yeah.
thing? The Reef? Like, no.
no idea. No idea.
The sorry,
I
the
was surprised
elites.
there
You mean
weren't
the
more
or
bigger
the
I don't know Halo.
Covenant? The Covenant. The Covenant.
I just play the
Yeah.
multiplayer. We just get Master Chief on Master Chief action.
Yeah.
Some teabagging.
Yeah.
All
I
teabagging.
I don't look as far as I see it, right? Halo is stars a character that we never see their face, and that is a
Yeah.
big problem with a lot of these characters. You'll notice that usually when they make a movie of them, they usually bend the knee and end up basing it around a famous movie star or whatever, and they show him
Yeah.
without his mask on. So I think that in terms of Halo, it's like I think that people should maybe calm the F down because
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
Master Chief needs support, especially
Yeah.
when you're watching him in a medium where it's not interactive and you're not getting to be Master Chief yourself. So I'm not surprised that there are other characters that are going to be that are prominently going to appear. I think that should be an expectation.
What? A rational gamer? Get out of here.
But I mean, even as I was watching the trailer in the office, I was saying, yeah, Master Chief is supposed to be kind of a proxy for the player.
Mhm. Right.
And that's why you don't see his face. That's
Right.
why his name is John, the most
Yeah.
generic name humanly possible. It's supposed to be, that's your avatar. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Don't worry
Right.
about it. It's
Exactly.
fine.
Don't worry.
You don't see his face. He's just like, he's a Spartan, even though every other Spartan in the universe takes off their helmet. There's regular people.
Yeah.
Not Master Chief.
What
he's
is with that?
What
What
is
is
about
with
be
every
real
other
smelly in
Spartan
there? Who knows?
takes
Let's
their
start doing
face
that
off?
around the office.
Before I used to fear. I used to think like the reason why he doesn't take his mask off is probably because he's been in there so long that no one wants to see his face now. Like probably
Yeah,
he's
it's
just
funky.
so pallid. His skin hasn't seen the sunlight in like
Yeah.
decades, and so
It's got to get humid in there so he actually looks like a prune.
yeah. But then you see like you get the Halo 5 Guardians,
Yeah.
and like you got like darn, I forgot his name all of a sudden. Buck.
gone forever.
Locke?
One of my favorite actors. Not Locke. No, not Locke. The from Firefly.
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion, right?
Was that ODST?
No, he was. Yeah, he was in ODST as well. But in
Okay.
Halo 5, he's become a Spartan.
Okay. But my
Right,
point is,
so,
yeah,
yeah.
you see his face. He just
Yeah,
looks like
you
a
see their
person.
faces, and you're like, well, dude. Oh, except that you'll notice that blue team, which is Master Chief's group, they never take the mask off. None of them, and it's so weird.
Ooh, blue team.
It's
Because you
super
have to
weird.
be part of the cool kids.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they're the sect of
Informative.
Mandalorians who never take their helmet off.
What
Yeah,
I'm understanding
exactly.
is that Master Chief is a little
Ever.
judgy and no one's free to be themselves.
Yeah.
This is a toxic work environment.
Yeah.
But,
Plus,
but it. Sorry,
Well, or to come back to it too, like if they'd gone the other way and he started talking a whole lot, taking his helmet off, it'd be the Book of Boba Fett all
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah.
People would be like, "Oh, he's not supposed to talk this much. This isn't my Master Chief."
Mhm.
Like, so there's no good way to do it, and they
They
picked
should
the
do
best
Deadpool style,
storytelling.
where he's just like narrating the whole time.
Yeah,
my point is,
Like-
it'd be very boring to watch. Like Master Chief, as Master Chief is in the games, would be very boring to watch in a mainstream like TV
I
show.
think so. Yeah.
You're like, okay,
Wouldn't
he's
it be
walking
like
around a
watching
lot.
like Blair Witch Project. Just
Yeah.
like
Found
all
footage.
times. You don't get to see him. You
Look at
just see what
Master
he's
Chief.
doing.
I mean, I'm not saying that it can't happen. It's just that it's very difficult to write a character that is that convincing when you can't see their face. You don't see those things. So that, I mean, I would think that if the series is successful, then certainly there will be episodes that exclusively star Master Chief and Cortana. I would think that they would do something like that once they get a feel for what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I don't think that we should expect that Chief should shoulder the entire freaking world of Halo. It's just not going to work. Like they need to have supported characters.
But even in the games, there's some massive actors that kind of go along with Master Chief. You have Keith David in there,
right?
You have who you just mentioned in the Nathan Fillion, and the list goes on and on from there. Like there's a lot of major actors in these series, even back all the way to Halo 2 and 3. So I don't know what these people are upset about, the fact that there's more than just Master Chief, because the series has always been kind of an ensemble, with only Master Chief being kind of the avatar for you, with everyone else being kind of the people that bring the character to the universe. If Master Chief was alone, it would be very boring.
I'm bored with gamers being mad about stuff.
And
although I was just mad about stuff. So.
And then the name of the show is Halo, not Master Chief, right? So
more
Master
Halo.
Chief is Master Chief and the Halo album.
The theme song.
Ooh.
I'm really good joke.
The Halo show.
Oh God.
On that horrible singing segue. Let's hop over into a reviews and impressions segment. And Kari, you have the big one this week. For a game that comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, it's technically out now.
I suppose.
Oh, is it midnight?
Okay, Australia.
No, Dying Light. Is this what we're talking about? Spoiler.
Yeah, I think so.
No, I got a big thing. It's live now. It's been going live all day in different places.
Here in Eastern time.
What am I doing here?
There's a map. There's a map with a bunch of times.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What do you want to know?
Tell us about it.
Well, all right. I really enjoyed my time with it. With Dying Light 2. I was a big fan of Dying Light 1, even though I did not actually play a lot of that extra content that they just kept releasing in the years that followed. But I think that this game does exactly what you would expect a sequel to do. It takes everything that worked about the previous game, but it also ups the ante and expands upon a lot of the stuff that works, like the city, as they call it. The game takes place in some place that used to be called Villador, and is now just known as the city, because it is one of the only cities left standing, or believed to have been left standing after the zombie apocalypse has basically taken over the world. And it's rather depressing stuff. It's a pretty serious,
cheerful story so far.
Yeah, it's got a serious tone to it, but I love how it's kind of like taken the lore that it had and it's expanded on it. There's a new day-night cycle that truly encourages you now. The way that the mechanics work in the game, you're encouraged to actually go out and do things at night, which is the scariest time to play the game, because you've got like the more powerful zombies around on the streets.
Is it an I'm going to throw things kind of game?
Sure.
Is that what I'm understanding?
To throw things?
Am I going to throw things? If I play
you mean
I
throw things in fear? No,
yes.
I don't think so, because I think the great thing about Dying Light is that because it's based around parkour and action, you'll spend a lot of your time like trying to figure out how to get around, be mobile, how to avoid enemies. And the more you play and the more parkour points that you unlock, then you can add new abilities that give you a better fighting chance against the zombies. Usually I hardly ever died from I rarely ever died from an actual zombie encounter. The humans are much worse. They're much more deadly than the human.
Accurate.
Yeah, and
In
yes,
general.
accurate, but also they're just more skilled. They're
Mhm.
more dangerous, and they attack you in packs. So while zombies tend to most of the zombies tend to be more like shuffling idiots, or they're really powerful, but you can lose them if you run fast enough. But I find that like the combat is a lot more intense because of all these new abilities that you have, and they changed around some of the controls that it takes a little getting used to. I actually use the Xbox Elite controller, so because of that, I was able to pretty much work the controls into similar to how I play other games like Halo or whatever.
Right.
So it's not too much of a leap, but I think that it may be a slight challenge for people who normally play on a pad. I didn't mess around with the standard customizations, but anyway, once you've got a control scheme that you like, I think that you'll find that dealing with zombies and so on, really not that difficult. The tough part actually is where I found myself dying a lot was just falling off of buildings. Like just
That would
not
definitely
making
be
it,
me.
or not because I didn't make a jump, but more like I would be in a fight and then I would back up and literally like back up off the building, fall,
Move back to
or
gain perspective and just eat it. Yeah,
right, or
that's
there's
me in a
and there's
nutshell.
and there's also a stamina system, right, that you have to upgrade. So kind of like Breath of the Wild, I guess. Like you can only climb so far, right, in the beginning, and then as you develop and upgrade, you gain more stamina, or you can put more points towards stamina that'll allow you to climb, run, dodge, and do all that stuff longer, and then you'll die less. So
That makes sense.
Yeah. So
Work at it. You'll get better.
yeah, but I mean, I really do enjoy the game.
What did you end up scoring it?
I ended up scoring it with a 9. I actually wanted to be more critical and give it an 8.5, because I did have a couple of gripes with things like the combat felt a little more stiff. But I think over the course, but I was actually wrong about that. I think it was just that over the course of writing the review, I started to realize, wait, I think I understand why they did this. Like the first Dying Light, which is kind of like what made it hard to kind of review this game for me, was just that the first Dying Light was a lot more loosey-goosey. It didn't, when you jump and vault off of someone and then do a flying kick into another guy, right? It was a lot more like anything goes. You might whiff the move. You might glance at them and they go flying in a totally different direction than you thought they would, or whatever. Well, in Dying Light 2, you'll do a vault, and literally if you execute the move correctly, you will literally you're literally sucked towards them. So it's a little bit more like, I don't know how to describe it. The best way I can describe it is like, it's kind of like Halo when you're playing with the plasma sword and you get within range of striking, and then suddenly you just get pulled right towards them and hit them. It's almost guaranteed that you're going to hit
It's
them.
like a quick time event, but it's not. It's
kind of like
you're like in there.
Kind of like that. And I'm thinking, like, does that really work? I mean, is that really the way they should have gone? But when you're constantly being attacked by multiple people, and you kind of want to make sure that, hey, I'm actually going to hit this guy that I'm flying towards, because if I don't, I'm going to fly right off the side of the building. Yeah. So yeah, I think overall the gripes that I had in the beginning actually kind of melted away as I got through the rest of the review, and I felt like, no, actually, I think this really does deserve a 9. I think it really does stand tall, right? And the game's massive. The game is absolutely massive. I couldn't believe how many places, how many buildings you can go in and rummage around.
I love rummaging in games
for looting and things like that. It's great once you get things like the tools like the paraglider, right? And you can start, which also relies on stamina. That's the big thing, is that when you paraglide, right, you can't just float forever. You have to be watching your stamina and say, how long can I hold on to this thing before I lose control of it? So once I got hang of that, I stopped dying. I stopped falling out of the sky and dying.
This game sounds like I'm going to throw it because I'm frustrated game.
No, it's very much like it's like the first game became more of a meaty action RPG. That's really what I would call this, even more than the first one was. And if you like that, you're going to love this game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
All right.
Yeah, and you can read the full review at cgmagonline.com. We're gonna get the full impressions there.
And we're giving away a copy on
yes,
Twitter right now. Between
do I got to retweet? Is that how I win?
You do. You've got to retweet, share, like, and comment your favorite survival horror. I believe was the stipulation.
Nice.
Yeah, get
so
in on
that'll
that,
be
sure.
drawn tomorrow, so that they can dive in.
Nice.
And Brandon, you had a TV review, right?
Yeah, I did that a while ago, so I don't remember much about it. But it was cool. It was
the death glare from Dana is
the LG C1 OLED. It is freakishly thin. I was like taking it out of the package. It's weirdly heavy for how thin it is, but that's all the metal and stuff that supports it.
You're right back.
But you're talking, this thing is only about under a centimeter thick at its thinnest point. So it's thinner than a laptop. It feels ridiculously thin. And it has this base that is the most complex base I've seen on a TV, because it has this front thing and a back thing just to make it so it can stay upright but still be thin and look really sleek in a desktop or any kind of media center. It's ludicrously expensive, but games like, I tried some Dark Souls on it. I tried some classic survival horror games. I tried a few different things just to see how well the light levels and the dark levels worked. And it is striking how, compared to an LCD TV, how well the blacks look, how well like dark scenes look, especially considering how on most TVs you'll get nowadays, black is kind of a dark gray. On this, it's true black. It is nothing. And seeing how well that does work in a TV this size is just fantastic. If you can afford it, it's great. And it has great, it works amazing with games. It works amazing with all the streaming services. And it has that WebOS interface that is, I like better than a lot of the like Roku's and things like that. So I really did like that part. But it really has to be in your budget to kind of go spend over $1,000 on a TV. And if it is, you'll be rewarded for it. But it is kind of, it's an investment.
There you go.
Yeah. How much was it again?
I think it was 1,500.
Oh, okay.
Yikes.
Strangely, that doesn't seem too bad. No, I used to work at a Sony store like for several years, like probably around the time that I met you, Brendan, I think. And back then I was like willing to spend like up to $1,000 for a TV, and I remember most TVs were like, I mean, of course, we're talking about completely different technology at this point, but I was thinking it was going to be more. So
$14.99, yeah.
$14.99. That doesn't seem that bad. Yeah.
How many?
Yeah.
Is it like a 4K TV?
It's 4K, 120 hertz OLED.
Cool. Yeah, I just remember going to, I think it was Samsung, and they had like their 8K TVs that they were on display, and they were saying the prices, and they were like, this one's 15 grand, and it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it looked really nice, but you know.
I don't need a TV that bad.
No one needs 8K yet.
Yeah.
I feel like I bought my first TV like in 2007 when I started living like alone for about $1,000, and that was nowhere near the quality of this thing. So
no, I think prices have come down a lot.
Yeah, like my kid just broke one of our TVs. It wasn't quite that big, but we went out and bought another one for like $150. Mind you, again, not quite that big, but still a decent sized TV. So I mean, you can get normal human regular TVs for $500-600 now.
Yeah.
So
you definitely now my pass off is feeling cheated for having spent $1,000 on that piece of crap TV.
Should have waited.
Should have waited 10 years and bought it. Could have turned that like into a nest egg. Yeah, that would have been great. So yeah, Dana, you wanted to talk about the CGM top and worst rated 2021 features that ran this week. You did.
They did run this week. I will talk about them gently because they're not short. So I think yesterday came out our perfect 10s of 2021. So we just went through our lists of everything throughout the year that got a 10 out of 10, which doesn't happen a whole lot. We had a few movies. So there was In the Heights, Spider-Man No Way Home, The Unforgivable, Arcane Act 3. Well, I guess that's technically a show, but that kind of stuff. Our games were Tetris Effect Connected, Age of Empires 4. Look at me reading Nomen Ruminals. That kind of time. And if Jordan's still here somewhere, Chicory, Colorful Tale. And then our tech was the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus, the Herman Miller Logitech G Embody chair that Lindsay loved, our DJI motion controller, and the Oculus Quest 2. So those are the only 10 out of 10s we gave last year. That sounds weird.
That does sound weird.
Our worst rated is a longer list that I will not go through. The rules originally it was like anything under a 6, and then that list got real serious. So I think we went with anything under a 5. The worst game by far was Balan Wonderland. Wonderworld. See, the line in it says, which isn't called Balan Wonderland, by the way, even though that's a far better name, and I called it that anyway. So, the final thoughts there were Balan Wonderworld is just plain bad. Apart from its terrible costume system, it does nothing new and poorly copies things other 3D platformers have already done better.
I love a good Jed review.
2 out of 10.
That's the only Jed review I've seen since I've been at CGM, and it was delightful.
Well, wasn't GTA remastered a 2.5? So close, right?
Yeah.
But that was this year,
why
no?
isn't that there? I don't know why that isn't there.
Came out after?
No.
It was December.
That's
Anyway,
that's
2.5. That's pretty
2022.
close. At least Balan
Whoops.
Wonderworld tried to be original.
There you go.
Well, I
Yes.
think, anyways, in theory, they
They
tried
didn't
to
just
just be
screw it
half
over.
original.
Yeah.
Didn't just slap a GTA through AI upscaler and call it a day.
Chris, actually, you have our worst tech. You
do?
and we have a few that are tied, actually.
Oh,
with
right.
TCL 20S smartphone. That you
It's a
gave
phone.
4.
It's a phone.
But it doesn't phone well, does
It
it?
doesn't. It doesn't phone special. It's,
The TCL 20S has potential as an alternative to other Android devices, but ultimately fails to meet it.
I don't want to discourage them from trying. It's a good start, but it also just wasn't special. It's just the camera wasn't very good. It's just totally forgettable. I forgot I gave it a 4.
There you go.
So,
That actually tied with the GameSir F8 Pro Snowgone. It's a phone controller, whatever the technical name for that is. So I was actually talking to Joe about this review, and this thing, the way that it cooled your phone, it literally got wet.
Ew.
Like there was condensation. He's like, my phone is wet. I feel that's bad.
Maybe his phone was leaking before. And then he just
What is leaking?
it's the
But,
5G coming out.
The final thoughts there were the F8 Pro Snowgone is an interesting but very limited idea.
Oh boy!
I hope to be on this list this year, so you know,
Bring it.
send us your bad
Let's-
luck, guys.
let's find
Let's
you
find a
some
real
weird
turd
stuff.
to send Alex.
I'm
yeah.
surprised.
Yeah, and then our worst movie was Dash Cam, which Brendan, I think you watched, didn't you?
Yeah, it's not good.
Lindsay reviewed it. It's not a happy review. One of the lines in the review is she boards a plane to the UK and comes in like a wrecking ball to her friend's house, cracking wise about Black Lives Matter and feminazis.
Oh, we talked about this one. Yeah,
We
this
did,
was.
yeah.
This sounds like a real train wreck.
Yeah, so that was our worst movie of the year. There are plenty more, especially movies. We were mad at some movies this year.
That's fair.
So definitely go check that out. It was fun to read. It was fun to write that. It was fun to go back through a year even before me and see how mad everybody was about stuff.
Well, it's a
Progenitor,
year to be mad.
to
It's definitely a
to
year
answer
to
your
be
question from the chat, would I be better off with the Nokia that I had when I was 18 that played Snake and nothing else? Probably. I would pick the Snake for nostalgia over the
I thought
TCL.
you were happy then, Chris. So that's
Yeah, that takes me back. Actually, that was simpler.
yeah.
times.
That's also true. Another good comment. The phone was working so hard it was sweating. So it's like the
Oh.
iPhones don't sweat, the Samsungs don't sweat because they're not giving it all.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Oh, God.
So in it to win it.
Change your score, Chris.
Yeah.
I should
talk
go
after.
back. It's not fair. You're right.
Yeah.
That was too harsh. That's kind of it for our official reviews, but we'd like to talk a little bit about the other stuff we're playing just beyond the topical games of the week. And Alex, I think you and I were playing the same thing this week.
Bomberman.
I'm trying to make this work.
Bomberman.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I screwed up on you. Yes.
Sabotage.
We'll let you two chat.
Yeah.
So yeah, go tell me what you thought about it. Actually, you can go
So
first.
I'm pretty early on. I'm like, it's probably three or so hours in. I have friends in a Discord who's like, I got one Pokemon left, and then I can have all the Pokedex. I'm like, oh my god, I just got out of it. But I like it because we've had mainline Pokemon games have been the same for a long time now, and like, you know, sometimes they change stuff. Like when the Sun and Moon did, like, they're doing the 4 islands instead of the gyms, which was really cool. Sword and Shield did a bit of open worldy kind of areas. But this one was the real first one in a while that's actually felt different, and that wasn't. It is a spin-off, but it's not like a Pokken tournament where it loses the core of Pokemon, which is catching them all, and that's what this game is. And I think that that's what, for me, is the most exciting part of Pokemon. It's why I liked Pokemon Go at the beginning, where it was just like, hey, get out there, catch some cute Pokemon, and do it. And Arceus is really cool.
Yeah, that's a great point. Actually, like, this is the first one to really like experiment but stay within the formula without like staying too close to what already worked and is getting stale or veering off entirely to a different genre like Pokken Tournament. I really like the whole. It's a really seamless open world game in itself too. Like I like how you just move instantly from capturing to fighting to, like, it's just all seamless. No big transitions or anything like that. You can move around in the battles, so it's like you're fully immersed in the open world. I'm pretty early on too. Actually, I probably sunk about 4 or 5 hours into it, but I'm also taking my time and like trying to fill some Pokedex entries.
It's cool. Like in a battle, you were saying, like, it's like a regular Pokemon battle, but it's happening like in front of you, and you can move around while it's happening. So it's just like another layer of.
I do that in Pokemon Go. There's a swipe.
Yeah. But you can like walk around and like stand behind the Pokemon you're fighting and like not crouch, but like move side to side as your Pokemon's like beating it up, and it's cool, and it's like very Pokemon. It's not like doing things that are like, oh my god, I can't believe this. It's like you're catching Pokemon, you're completing the first Pokedex, and it's nice to sort of go to this different region, because I mean Pokemon games do go to different regions, where we got like the UK one in Sword and Shield and some different ones inspired, but this is it's really cool. It's not ugly, it's not like gorgeous or anything. It's not like, you're not going to be like, oh my god, Breath of the Wild, even though it definitely takes some inspiration in the visuals there. But I don't know, it's a cool game, it's a fun game, and I think that's what is most important with it.
People are really ragging on the graphics and stuff, and it's fair to a point, but it's also not what Pokemon's ever really been about. Like, it's never been about, you know, the sharpest graphics. Like, if you look at the first gen games, they haven't aged particularly well. Sprites are very limited and stuff like that. So it's always been a bit about leaving things to your imagination, I have always thought. It doesn't need to be super 4K trying to milk every ounce of processing power out of the Switch, right? Like it does what it does very well. I think I can look past the graphics, and there are some generally beautiful like vistas and things too. Like what's there is designed well, even if it's not the most powerful graphics engine. So it's really not taking anything away from it. I need to watch
some more of it. Chris, you gonna stream some more? Because I feel like I need to watch some more of it before I decide. I want it.
The first hour and a half is like really basic tutorial stuff, and it like kind of takes momentum.
Is it just like run around?
No, it's like, oh look, there's 3 Pokemon starters. You should catch them. Now we're gonna walk over here.
No, I mean the whole game, not just the tutorial.
Oh yeah. Sorry, what's the
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, like once you get into the game past the tutorial, because that's all I really saw from when Chris was playing it.
So the actual game is a lot more fun, and it is kind of like you are completing a Pokedex, and you don't just catch all the Pokemon. You have to like do missions where like, oh, you got to catch like 10 of this one, or like a bunch of these big ones. So there's a bit of like a checklist thing to it, but once you get out of the tutorial, at least for me, I forgot about that, and I was just like, oh my god, it's a Pokemon, I'm gonna catch it, kind of thing. So
I kind of had a similar moment where I was like, oh yeah, missions are a thing I should be doing. The Pokedex thing is neat in that each one has its own list of things to do. So like you might have to watch this one do X move Y number of times. Like Driftblim, the one ghost balloon looking Pokemon, has a special thing that's tied to a mission where you have to like go do one of these missions for one of the townspeople to fill in the Pokedex. I really do feel that this will be a really good onboarding point for people who either don't play Pokemon to begin with, or people who have lapsed from the series. It's really accessible in the open world way, and it doesn't have the same stale trappings, right? Like it's not go do the gym thing. It's like, no, you have to go. There's a story to do that actually means something, and there's your Pokedex rating kind of increases like a badge would have the same effect, or has the same effect that a badge would have, where like you can't control any Pokemon until you've like had until your research level is high enough to like match the level.
Yeah.
So like I'm at like the 3rd badge, so I can control up to like level 40, the same way it would be with like getting 3 badges.
Right.
It's a more holistic and like different take without being, again, too different, right?
Cool.
Just different enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit on. I also wanted to shout out the Hori Split Pad Pro. This monstrous.
Oh, okay.
Cards here.
Sorry, I'm always a sucker for these things. So like, please tell me about this. Is it for the Switch?
This is for the Switch.
Okay.
I've got it on my OLED. That
Okay.
makes a big difference. It does work on both models. Yeah, it's a nice grip. Like it's.
Yeah.
I think I joked last week that it feels like a Switch deck, or like a Steam deck, Freudian slip. Yeah, no, it's a
He's gonna
hefty
give it
boy. And again, I've got big hands and stuff, so it's probably. This could be a problem for smaller hand gamers, but no, it's much more comfortable and ergonomic. I feel a bit of a pain to put on the dock when these are on because it isn't quite like they're just big enough. Right? They got this like overhang.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does cause a bit of a problem with docking.
That sucks.
Which is unfortunate. So I just end up popping them off or whatever, right? Like I don't keep them on all the time. But I believe they cost almost as much as the Pro Controller, which is like one of my favorite controllers of all time now. So this feels like a pretty solid investment for like how much I play mine in handheld mode, which is like 50-50.
Nice.
So yeah, hefty boy. Got a turbo button on there too, if that's something that suits your fancy. Haven't actually used it. Not sure how reliable it is.
So you can pull the button down and it just kind of keeps like as if you're pushing it a lot of times.
Oh, okay.
And
It's
back
cheating.
pedals as well. So
Ooh,
yeah,
fancy.
highly recommend it if you play a lot of handhelds and want more ergonomic grip on it.
I kind of got something related to that. I don't know if any of you recognize what this is.
The
Oh,
Vita.
this is Vita?
The Vita, but
Oh, are we
this-
talking about the Vita again?
no, it's a Vita, but this is like a Hori grip
Yeah.
Oh,
for
okay.
the Vita, and I love this thing. Like, I mean, I don't play it that often, but it's like it's great for remote play because it actually allows you to use the touchscreen, like allows you to actually use some games that work with touchscreen areas.
Oh, nice.
Right, so you're not like having to like. I always hated the touchscreen on the Vita, but here it's like certain games it works a lot better.
Yeah.
You know, but I've always had like ever since I went to Japan, I've always had like a soft spot for like Hori products. You know, I mean, I got my fight commanders for like fighting games. I got like I must have a dozen like Hori products lying around, but just
So many
God,
options.
yeah. So when I saw that, I was just like, oh man, I don't want to buy a Switch, but I almost want to get that grip anyway.
They do good stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I was actually curious about that grip when I was playing Vita more often because again, I got big hands and the Vita was not the most ergonomic thing.
It really wasn't.
Um,
You get claws after playing that thing.
Well, if
Yeah.
anybody's worried, we have a lot of 8 gig PS Vita memory cards at the office. We
Some
found
still in
this
package.
week.
Those
Some
are
still in the
expensive.
package.
They're
Yeah, those
expensive
Vita
as hell.
cards.
Oh
We
my
found
gosh.
all kinds of fun Vita accessories this week. Cleaning up the office.
Like mine corrupted on me and like wrecked my Final Fantasy 8 save in the Super Boss dungeon. So that's
Bad game. It's okay.
yeah. Oh, sir.
Well, if I
Alex
go
is
back-
on mute.
My wife's going to Japan soon. Maybe I can consider buying another Vita and so I can buy one of those cards off of you.
There you go.
Hey, they're
Game
around.
store.
They're around in your local game store. I was in mine recently
In
and
your local
saw someone.
The game cards,
in
the
the cases.
system itself.
Game
Like
cards.
the
you-
system itself, yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah.
None of us are talking
They're
about the
weird,
same thing.
but they're kind of hard
Really?
to find nowadays.
the Vitas?
Depends. Yeah, there's ebbs and flows. Like my local store had a couple this week when I popped in to
Really?
grab something else. Yeah.
How much
Like
is a
I
Vita?
never-
used ones
nowadays?
or new ones? What used ones? obviously.
Used.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't remember how much they were selling that for though. It seemed like I remember thinking like, oh, that's a decent price for a Vita.
Yeah.
But
Apparently, the PlayStation TV though is like $300. Like it's
Yeah,
it's
I
ridiculous.
have one sitting in a box right now.
I got mine. Yeah, I got mine back there. It's like it's
Yeah, they're weirdly expensive because they
Okay.
sold almost
Really
nothing.
weird.
But I bought it when I bought the one for the office. It was for streaming and stuff like that, and I bought it for like $13 because it was on Walmart. Was
lucky
cleared
you.
them out.
Yeah.
Lucky you. I got it on launch day for crying out loud. I was
It was
ready
like
to
$100.
like,
It was $100 from launch, and then they quickly just dropped that price.
Yeah.
But then now
There
they're
was
worth
a
like
moment
$300.
where EB Games was selling them for like $10 or something really cheap. And I was like, I should go out and grab one. I just never got around to doing it. And then I went to earnestly look for one, and they were like jumped up to $200. Like, well, maybe I'll
they're
not.
really expensive now.
I think it supported. I think the Vita TV. I know the Vita did, but the Vita TV I think also supported Netflix originally, and it was awesome. It was awesome then. It was like a little Netflix box, like gaming and Netflix box, and then they took that feature out. Yeah, so
they took it out of the Vita itself, and it was just the Vita.
Yeah.
It was Vita firmware on there.
yeah.
I've learned so much about the Vita since I met you humans.
It's a good system.
Never in my life. I think there's one in my house right now. I can join the club. Bring it.
You
I
should
have
get
a
on
few
that.
right. I think there's one over there.
Yeah, there's one sitting right beside us.
Yeah.
There's
I think I have 2 OLEDs and 1 LED version.
Yeah.
I was gonna grab mine, but it's
yeah.
not
Well, I have
actually
4
found
switches at my house. So what? Come at me.
And does anyone else have anything else they've been playing
I
recently?
mean, like Alex has the headphones he should talk about.
Oh, I'm wearing them.
Hey.
Yeah,
does
no,
that mean
it's
we're happy?
yeah, they're interesting. They're like a $99, $120 pair of Audio Technicas, and the one thing about them is they're super light. Like I normally have this heavy pair of.
Are we gonna do another wardrobe change? I don't think I'm ready for
No,
it.
no, of course
Okay.
not. But I normally have these heavy ones with the gamer ear
Yeah.
flaps, and these are like super light. They're not like the bassiest things. The sound quality is okay, but they're pretty cheap. They look kind of nice. They got the Audio Technica flair, and yeah. I don't know, it's been like a day and a half, but so far it's
You have the closed back ones, right?
yes, I have the Earth. I have the Earth, and Chris is going to be getting the Air, I believe.
I got
Is
mine
that what
this
they're
week,
called?
actually. Yeah. Air, yeah. I'm initially
'Cause
really
they
impressed
have
with mine,
holes.
actually. I'm not wearing mine right now.
Boo.
How
I was
impressed are you,
testing them
Chris?
upstairs.
Yeah,
I was
sure.
testing them on Fortnite last night, so
What it's like.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed them, but like I think I'm more impressed with how they play music than how they play game audio. My first thing when I test a new piece of like audio hardware is to pull like my favorite songs, like pull a Spotify, pull like a playlist of favorite stuff, just pop that on, see how it sounds with something that I know intimately well. And
Do
I
that
was
with my
really impressed.
lipstick.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Put on your anthem, and there you
I
go.
believe mine are more built for gaming, where it's like you're kind of like in it. And yours are more like letting sound out, so it's kind of might be better for music.
Definitely a less noise canceling headset, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I could hear myself talking like pretty well. which I
Why?
don't
Who
do
is that?
on
Do you
these
like that?
SteelSeries ones. There's probably circumstances, right? Like there's times where like if my wife's talking to me and I'm playing something, I can't hear her like talking to me until she's like
Right.
in my peripheral, right? Like
Sure.
there are times, so there's other times where it's like you don't want that, right? Like yeah.
Like when I'm
I-
working
I-
from home and my husband's there and I have a 2-year-old screaming and I'm like, well,
Yeah,
these
you
are
want-
going
you
on
wanna
now.
shut that
Goodbye,
down.
everyone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can't quite do that with the Air models, but different strokes for different folks. on
Not
that
for
one.
parents to drown out their kids. Got it.
Exactly. Yeah, and
That's the subtitle.
And I've had Audio Technica ones that are like a bit more expensive, like $300 ones, and there's like I don't know. When I hear Audio Technica, I think more like it's like more expensive, but it's a pretty good low to mid range headphone. Is 120 mid range? I feel like that's mid range.
I don't know
you could
anymore.
go grab like a
don't know.
HyperX headset for $40.
Because I feel
I
like
think
low range is like you're under $100.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to remember the super high range. Like these are all these ones, and these are like 500. And they could still consider these like mid range.
What about your Ferrari ones? The ones that were like the
Oh,
Ferrari.
The white ones.
yeah.
Those are like 900 or something like that. So
Those are
would,
so
I guess,
comfy
be-
though. Like
yeah.
it's
I hate them.
Or 900,
They're my
they better
least
be.
favorite headset on the planet. I believe I said here, stop wearing those because I don't like them.
But yeah, mine and Chris's review will come in the future because it hasn't been written yet. So
Well, should launch them on the same day. There we go. Earth and
Oh.
Air.
yeah, like
Just need
one of us
fire
gives
and
a
water.
10 out of 10, one of us gives a 1 out of 10. It's like,
There we go. We'll coordinate. We'll sync up. I'm curious about the other thing you put on the document here. Farming Simulator 19.
yeah, I've just been playing Farming Simulator 19 with a friend. We opened a group farm.
Not 21 though.
Game Pass, the free one is 19.
Okay.
Kind of ties into
That
that. But yes, you can create a farm. We didn't watch any tutorials. We spent an hour before we knew how to buy a farm. And then when we did buy a farm, we put it in the mountains where we had to drive like 20 minutes in game, like in real life, to get there with our tractors and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you buy them at the store, then you got to take them up there, right? They don't deliver it for you. And then after like another 3 hours, we realized
So
you could
Alex
tell
will not be streaming this on our CGM play.
it's so exciting. It's so much fun. It is wonderful. It's a fantastic game. And we learned after 3 hours that you can teleport between any vehicles you get instead of constantly bringing your tractors down the 20-minute road. So it's been better. We started with $1.5 million. We have $200,000 left, and
You've got through a lot of money.
we just finished our first job, which is a
Gas.
$6,000 job. So not looking great,
You're
but
on your way back up.
yeah, it's been better every day. It's cool. Farming Simulator is really neat. It's got an esports scene. So
Does it
I've
really?
tried that game.
it does. I mean, I don't know when the esports issue is coming, but it's in there as one of my top 5 esports to watch. So it's really cool. It's really intense too, and the commentary is like, highly recommend checking it out.
There are a lot of smiles coming out of you right now. I'm very curious.
It's wild, yeah.
So it's not like Goat Simulator or the new one that we found through my press emails, Drug Dealer Simulator.
We haven't gotten to a part where you can either deal or receive drugs.
Okay. Let me know.
Poppy fields,
That's how you get back your millions.
Plant all those poppies in the game, you're set.
It's the wrong kind of farm.
We're in so much
There's a
sweat,
crossover event in the future.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you don't subscribe to us now, I will play Farming Simulator 19 on stream. So just
there you go.
Beware.
Yeah.
Beware.
Live your lives.
For me, the thing that I'm going to jump back into probably this week once my top secret game is over is ESO. I'm getting ready for Legacy of the Bretons. So I want to go not have to spend half my review time trying to figure out how to play ESO again. So that's my next mission.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Cool.
I've been playing a hell of a lot of Halo Infinite multiplayer. I didn't think this was going to happen, but it has essentially become my, I guess you could say, like my job game. Like previously, my job game was Hitman, right? So it's like Hitman 3. So every time that the one of those elusive targets would show up, like the ones where you only had a number of days to take him out. Right, and you couldn't fail. If you fail, it's game over, and you lose a chance to get it. And I used to do that religiously, and then Halo comes along, and I got into the multiplayer. And what's so weird is that all the people that I thought I'd be playing the game with are flaky, like they're flakes. Like I don't see them, right? I'm playing this game with randos all by myself, and normally I hate that. Normally it's like this is the kind of thing that makes me just rage quit, throw my controller out, and just say, well, what's the point? I'm not playing with anybody that I want to play with.
I have no friends I don't want to play.
No friends, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like take my ball and go home. But for some reason, the whole battle pass and event thing, like the event chasing thing, just has me hooked. I'm constantly trying to get the new armor or this or that. I did spend a little bit on the cosmetics. I figured, like I said before, I didn't pay for the game, so here for free. Here's some money for you. But I really have gotten into like chasing the events every week. And what's amazing is that I know this shouldn't come as any surprise, but I'm playing this game. Yes, absolutely, Axeman 3384. I will play with you, man. Okay. But what I find was amazing is that I'm actually not bad at the game. Like I'm actually getting really good. There are times when I do.
So imagine if you had a coordinated team. You could...
Exactly. I feel like if I was with a team that communicated, it would be even better. But there are times where there's times where I'm just doing like stuff where I'm like, I'll finish a game and all the craziest shit will have just happened, and I'll be like, did I just do all that? Like, there's got to be something wrong. Like, there's got to be, maybe my auto aim's too high or whatever. But I have just been enjoying the heck out of it, and enjoying the heck out of it, tearing my hair out too. I mean, that's part of the problem, is that enjoying Halo also means like not enjoying it. But I've been getting into all the events. I hate attrition though. Attrition is a garbage mode. Get rid of it. I hate it. Fiesta, where you get random weapons every respawn, pretty good.
Fiesta's great, yeah.
Fiesta is fun, yeah.
Attrition, okay, if they take out power weapons, attrition's fine. But you get a rocket launcher, 3 people are dead, and you're like, well,
yeah. I think attrition. What I hate about attrition is that you'll work so hard. Like most modes, if you're doing well and your team's rolling, right? you're going to win. You know you're
Mhm.
going to win. You can feel it. But attrition, so many times you're ahead of the pack. You're in the lead. You've got them down to one guy, and then all of a sudden, someone takes their eye off the ball, and suddenly they've revived their entire team. They roll on you, and you're dead.
Yeah,
And you
attrition's
lose.
cool because
That's
well,
the
and
one that gets
frustrating.
teabagged in,
That's part of
right?
the. I mean, it's a part
Yeah.
of the whole appeal of it, but it's also why I hate it.
Yeah,
So,
it's the shared life pool, and then once your lives are gone, your
Yeah.
players die for real, but they can be revived, kind of thing. So it's like
Yeah.
it's a cool concept, I think, but just not really works.
it must be
Power weapons suck. Yeah,
Yeah.
they really threw it
That's
off, and
true.
the vehicles too. Like I kept running into matches where someone would grab the turret on the warthog or whatever on the side of the map, just spam the entire
Yeah.
match, and it actually worked, which is the frustrating thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are times if you plan ahead, or no, I shouldn't say if you plan ahead, but I find that a lot of those situations can be overcome if you know where that weapon is that you can use to counter it, right? Because a lot more that's what to Halo Infinite multiplayer is like credit. There are many more weapons now in the game that can counter problems that you couldn't solve before. So, for example, even that crummy what is it again? The electrical pistol, right? A few shots of that,
yeah.
and you can disable a vehicle with it. But you have to be careful. Like obviously,
Right.
you can't approach a wraith running across open ground with your pistol shooting at it. You're gonna get killed before you even get close. But if you plan it, it works. I'm not going to get into the whole strategy of it all, but I just I mean I adore the game for that. But yeah, I do realize there are times when it can be really frustrating, especially on that what's that map, Behemoth, that everybody hates. Yeah. So
There's
I don't know
always
my
that
name.
map that everybody hates in
Yeah.
any game, in any
I like
Like-
it, but it's fine.
yeah.
World
I
of
like it, but
Warcraft
they-
PvP. Like there's, I think it's Altering Valley or something. Like there's always
Yeah.
something everybody
Yeah.
hates.
Well, apparently they removed it. Like Bungie themselves removed it from certain playlists because
Oh,
it
weird.
Oh,
was-
interesting.
Yeah, it was
There's
just
also not a lot of
working.
maps
Capture
in
the
Halo.
flag. It didn't work
Yeah.
well for Capture the Flag, so they removed it from there. I don't know if they're ever going to bring it back, but
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put Halo.
Halo's
Streaming
fun.
that one night, bringing Dana into Halo for the first time as an Xbox player, never having played Halo.
Let's do
We
it.
should
Wow.
we should stream that
We
one, the
should do
four of
that.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
it'll be
I'll
amazing.
have to mute myself though. I'm not. I'm
You're
not
gonna
very
yell at
civil.
me?
No, not because of you. I get mad at myself. I get so mad.
The whole
I-
stream is just Kari.
I hate it when we
Abusing
lose,
himself.
I hate it when we lose, and I'm the final kill.
Oh,
Like
Mm.
I'm the difference. I'm the one. I should have just hid in the corner and just stayed there. And we
That's a
won.
responsibility.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
That's great.
Halo's
Um,
fun.
I'm surprised how
So-
much I enjoyed it as well. But
Yeah.
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 So there's something to it. I haven't put my finger on it yet, but there's something to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's gonna do it for us for this
Yeah.
week. Thank you for joining us, those of you in the chat, and also those of you listening to the recording on your podcast service of choice. Thank you for joining us as always. If you'd like to read more on these topics and more, you can find full coverage at cgmagonline.com. Be sure to follow CG Magazine on all the socials. Just search for CG Mag and you'll find us. And if you have any questions or comments, please send them to podcast@cgmagonline.com and we'll be happily address them on the air. Kari, thanks for joining us. Where can people
No
find
problem.
you?
Thanks, you. Right now, nowhere other than other than on CG. I'm still kind of getting my whole content creator thing going. So I'm still working on the tech. So or figuring
You
out.
can
the
find
tech
him
myself.
here, and
Yeah.
then
He's
we'll
here,
tell
yeah.
you where to go.
Yeah, that's right.
If you get a job at CG Magazine, you can talk to him in Slack. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Good point. All right.
Alex, where can people find you?
you can find me on social media at Alex Hansiuk and sometimes around some places. Yeah.
Accurate and descriptive.
Thank you.
Dana.
Local watering hole. You can find me at the Dana Eileen. So DAYNAEILEE because I don't know how to spell my name. And that is in most places. That's here on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. I think that's it. Maybe TikTok. I don't recommend going there. It's a scary place.
Yeah. I don't know either. And Brian.
B526 and everything. I'm even on Twitch, but I don't ever stream. So
Until next
There's
week,
just
Texas
searching
first stream.
creepy things from his house.
Not even here on CG Magazine on twitch.tv. But we're we're streaming more game stuff these days, so be sure to tune
Now
in.
that we're
and hit
affiliates.
Yeah, we
Congrats.
hit affiliate.
Oh,
So
congrats.
watch for more game streams. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at Hoogathy. That's HOOGATHY, as well as here on Twitch on my own channel, which is Guild 2 Taps. So yeah, for everybody here at CG Mag, thank you for tuning in and for listening and rating, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.